Am I live? Good morning. Now we're going to do the good morning thing. That's to everybody. It's beautiful outside. I love the rain. Anybody know that song? Raindrops keep falling on my head. Sometimes it's just fun to just stand there in the rain and just let it do its thing. No, I am definitely a desert creature. So when rain falls, I pay heed. Well, let's pretend like we're in the desert. Let's close our eyes, take a nice deep breath. You're standing on a sand dune in the middle of a beautiful, beautiful desert. There's nothing there, just you and all of God's creation. Blue sky above your head, sun shining down, some clouds here and there. And you sit down on that sand dune. You take a deep breath in. And you just let go of all that came before, all your worries, your thoughts, your doubts. And you let go of all those things between you and the peace that is your birthright. You were created in harmony, in peace, and it's all there for you, inside you. You look out across this wide, open expanse, the yellow sand stretching forth in all directions, mountains far off in the distance, completely free of any needs or wants. You're not thirsty, you're not hungry. You don't have to rush off and do things. You can just be. You take a deep breath in and just let it out. You see far off in the sky, in front of you and up above, as a cloud is going by, you see a bird floating on the updrafts. Doesn't even need to move his wings. Just hanging in the air. Feel the harmony of that bird. It barely has to twitch its wings to stay aloft. As you take a deep breath in and you release, you realize the sand is warm beneath you. The sand was made to soak up the heat from the sun and heat up the air around it and float up into the air, creating the updraft that holds the wings aloft of that bird. God is in that. As you take a deep breath in and you release it, you realize every feather on that bird's wing is perfectly placed to catch that updraft. Every twitch perfectly aligned with what it takes to just float along in the sky. God is in that. As you take a deep breath and you release, you feel the warmth of the sun on your face, creating the perfect conditions for the world around you at this moment. God is in that. As you take a deep breath in and release, you realize that you are in the perfect moment to witness this miracle, the perfect time and the perfect place. God is in you. Feel the harmony in this moment. The perfect balance. For God is in the sun, heating the sand, creating the updraft, floating in the air through the wings of the bird, and observing it all through you. What a perfect place to know God's peace. What a perfect time to experience it. What a perfect vessel to observe it, to be it, and to know it. Take one last breath in, and breathe it out, and know that you are always in that perfect moment, that perfect place, that perfect time to experience God and God's peace. And so it is. Thank you for joining us for our meditation. Our service will begin at 10 o'clock.
but I'm glad that you're here. I guess I could turn on my microphone. How are we doing on this rainy day? Glad that you guys are all here on this rainy day. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Beaumont. I don't think we have anybody new, but if we do, there's some welcome packets in the back. If you are joining us online, make sure you type in, let us know where you're watching from, let us know that you are here. After the service, we have fellowship and a meal in Carter Hall. Please consider staying after service. If you haven't already, please take a moment to make sure that your cell phone is silent. And we are going to begin by reading our vision statement together with all of the enthusiasm of a rainy day. Are you ready? We lost our screen. Ready? CSLB is an inclusive and transformative community of spiritual practice. And so it is. I'm going to encourage you to stand up. Go find somebody that you haven't seen or met or said hello to this morning. We're going to play some music while you're doing the greeting, and then afterwards we're going to do our opening song. But right now I want you to get up, say good morning, wake yourself up, and welcome our spiritual community.
If it be that we agree to live in harmony and set aside all that divides for the sake of humanity, would you say yes? Yes.
Come on.
Yes, yes. If it could be that we agree to meet on common ground, plant a tree and spread the fruit of love all around, would you say yes? Yes, yes, yes. Come on, everybody, sing with me. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. If you believe in you and me, sing yes, yes, yes. If you believe like I believe, we can make a better world. Listen to each other till every voice is heard. Singing yes, 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 yes. But would you say that we found a way to end all poverty? So forward, live with dignity from sea to shining. Oh, would you say yes? Come on, everybody, sing with me. Yes, yes, yes. Woo, yes, yes, yes. If you believe in you and me, sing yes, yes. Ooh, come on, everybody, sing with me.
There we go. All right, so hopefully you had a chance to wake yourself up, say good morning to some of your spiritual community as we open up our service this morning with our opening song with the great George Melton. Melton? Did I say that right?
Melton, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to do a lively congregational song, so I want you to all stand up again. We're going to sing Gary Lynn Floyd's Instrument of Peace. I don't know if we have the words for that today, but it's very simple. Make me an instrument, make me an instrument, make me an instrument of peace. That's the verse. And then the chorus is, where there is hatred, I will love. Where there is sadness, I will bring joy. And where there is darkness, I will shine. I am an instrument of peace, okay? Think we got that? Here we go. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. one more time. Let's do it. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. Where there is hatred, I will love. I will love. Where there is sadness, I will bring joy. I will bring joy. Where there is darkness, I will shine. I am an instrument of peace. I am an instrument of peace. Last time. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, George. We are an instrument. We are God's instrument. We're just expression of God here on earth. And that's what we do. I'm Yvonne Fowler, and I'm one of the practitioners here. And we are going to be available after the service right over here on this side of the church for doing a miracle. So if you have anything on your soul and you want to talk about it or just need something, please see one of us. Okay. The birthday, this is the first of the month, so this is the birthdays. And Jack went out and got our big birthday cake, so it's beautiful out there. So who has the birthdays this month? Oh, Shanna. Who else? Oh. Debbie. Who else? Do we get to sing?
Yes, we do. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday,
Debbie and Shauna and everyone else, to you. So yes, join us for a cake and other things in the back after service. And I'd like to talk about the announcements.
Wait, what about the volunteer of the month?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Do you know who the volunteer of the month is? Matthew, will you stand up?
All right.
Matthew has been with us for a very long time, and he is helpful in so many things that go on here at the church. And if he sees something that needs to be done, he'll ask and he'll do it. I love it. And even during the week, they bring the garbage cans, the trash cans in and out. He's on his way to school or after school or something and comes in and does that.
All right.
You're grown up to be a real practitioner. Thank you, Matthew. Okay. So the flower ministry, beautiful, beautiful flowers here. Lily, I guess they're in honor of you for your mother. Is it her birthday or just because?
Eula May.
Tomorrow.
Eula May.
Absolutely gorgeous. Thank you. If you want to have your flowers here for someone, just let us know. There's a list that you can write your name on. And the flowers are around $35 a bouquet. And then you can either take them home or you can have us raffle them off and someone else from the church will enjoy them. So it's a nice way of sharing a lot. Okay. So please sign up. And then we have the Joel Goldsmith Book Club. We were dark last week, but we're back again this week. And it'll be at 4 o'clock at my house in Sun Lakes, and Reverend Joel Reverend Neil talk about Joe. It's so neat because lots of times, we don't quite understand what they're saying in the book, and he can explain it so well. So thank you, and hope anybody that wants to come will come. On Wednesday, well, I see the sign that says $50. We have food here every Sunday, and whoever wants to bring the main course, they can have a reimbursement up to $50 for the main course. And the rest of us will always bring something, the side dishes or whatever. Today we brought donuts. So if you're interested in having the main plate, please sign up here on the sign-up sheet. We don't have anybody listed there for this month yet, so be the first. Okay, thank you.
See, we got some new chairs.
The platform looks beautiful since I was here last. Yes.
I didn't even notice. Nice, okay. All right, and hey, and Wednesday is going to be movie night, and it's metaphysical night, and what we do is we see the movie, and it's going to be Sully this month, and then we talk about the metaphysical meaning of the movie. So, and there's a dinner, usually spaghetti dinner or something else. So please come and join us for that night, and bring your friends, bring the neighbors. Okay. On the 11th of May, that'll be Mother's Day. There's going to be a champagne brunch. So we're going to honor our mothers and maybe us for all the years of our caring for our loved ones. So that's going to be on Sunday. And then, is there a sign for the yard sale?
Yeah, give me 1 second. It didn't load.
So Friday on the 30th and Saturday on May 31st, we're going to have the annual yard sale that we have here. And there's a poster over here so you can sign up for what you want. But please bring your slightly used things. And if you're bringing clothes, please bring them on hangers. If you need some hangers, call and we'll see if we can get you some, because it's much easier for us that put things together to have them on the hangers. So please do that. And then there's a sign-up list for the people that we need to clean up and to set up and to sell. So that's going to be on the 30th and 31st.
I want to announce that 2 weeks from today, on the 18th, we will have a concert at Redmond High School, and I'll be playing in it. And I hope you'll all come, 3 o'clock on Sunday.
Thank you, Donna. If you haven't been there, it's great. It's the orchestra plays the music that's just so lovely to just sit and listen, and to think that our own star is playing with us. So please join us on Sunday. That's about 3 o'clock, right?
Yes.
2 weeks, okay. Well, I've been out of town, and it's so nice to come home. Always nice to come home. And I had missed the daily guides because I didn't take my book with me. But the daily guides for May are about raise your voice. But the daily guides are from Diana Ensing, and she's a judge and a practitioner. And it's about nature. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Isn't that neat? So for Sunday, what she's talking about is believe as though you are. And Albert Einstein was attributed to this. There are only 2 ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle, and the other is that everything is a miracle. And nature is a miracle, and our lives are a miracle. And Ernest Holmes says, believe as though you are, and you will be. So she has a small stone on her altar with the word believe, and it's painted on it. So I have a couple of those rocks. I think a few of you do too. And they're affirmations, or else they give us an idea of things that we need to think about. And it's on our spiritual journey that makes it helpful. So they don't necessarily tell us what to do or how to do it. Rather, they are like signposts pointing towards a beneficial and joyful destination. And she says, I believe we all are guided along our life journey that is meant for us. I believe we know the path marked out for our souls. I believe we need courage and bravery at times so we can walk our unique path. I also believe this: life wants us to be happy, life wants us to be fulfilled, and life wants the best for us. So, what do you believe? What leads you forward in a healthy way? What path do you wish you trod? Do you have special mementos or objects that encourage you on your spiritual journey? Take a couple of slow, deep breaths and close your eyes just for a minute now and simply feel your breath as it travels through your body. That's what we did during meditation this morning. Let's try it again. When you open your eyes, ask for guidance on the highest and the greatest good for your life. Perhaps write out your hopes and dreams. Note the affirmations and support these desires. Now believe it is possible for you to fully live that vision. Then take one or two small action steps in that direction. Only you can swing open the gate and walk into your life that's waiting for you. Thank you. And now we get to hear from our Reverend Neil.
Meditation song, and then you're going to pray.
Uh-oh.
In the quiet center of my soul, with all my fears release, all the worries and heartache and longing cease, and there is only this loving and gentle peace. In the quiet center of my soul, my heart is open again, and the wrongs are forgiven, and the broken mends, and my cup runneth over without end. Amen. And my cup runneth over without end.
We come together here Sunday morning in our spiritual home. We come together to realize, to know that we are the chosen ones. We're God's selection here on earth. And we're here to do our job. We come here on Sundays to get that spiritual nourishment, that boost that helps us think about what we are really here for during the week. And we know that we are so blessed because God is as each one of us. And we know that our service is blessed, our media people are blessed, George, our musician, is blessed. We're blessed by his words, by his song, by his beautiful voice. And we're so blessed when we hear the message from Reverend Neil. And his talk today is Practice Makes Progress. And that's that little step that we need to keep going and doing our job and having a happy life. And so it is.
Oh, that was beautiful music. And that was a beautiful prayer. Thank you, Yvonne. That was my powerful voice. So before I forget, happy Star Wars Day. May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. That's where you guys are supposed to say, and also with you. You can tell none of you were raised Catholic. So it's an oldie but a goodie classic. A Zen master was visiting New York, and he goes up to a hot dog vendor and he says, what? Make me one with everything. And the hot dog vendor fixes a hot dog and hands it to the Zen Buddhist master, and the master pays a $20 bill. And the vendor takes his money, puts it in the cash register, and the Buddhist master says, well, where's my change? And the vendor says, change comes from within. My title today is Practice Makes Progress. And what I'm going to talk about today is 5 principles of spiritual practice. It's been on my mind, and I like to always talk about things that are relevant to me, to my own spiritual practice, and sometimes feeling like I get off track or trying to deepen in my own spiritual practice. And as a spiritual community, we have 5 official spiritual practices that we teach. Can anybody name one? Affirmative prayer, says the guy not from our community. Come on, guys. Anybody name another one? Meditation, says the practitioner. We need to do some more classes. Affirmative prayer, meditation. Visioning, got 3. We forgot sacred giving. Sacred giving, time, talent, and treasure. And there's one more. The most important one that we need to do more of, apparently. Study. Study, taking classes. We are a teaching order, not a preaching order. Those are our 5 official spiritual practices that we teach. Affirmative prayer, sacred giving, meditation or contemplation, study, and visioning. Those are our official spiritual practices. But really, a spiritual practice can be anything that we do to build our relationship with the divine. Could be journaling, walking, gardening, community service, washing dishes. My own personal favorite. I find washing dishes very meditative. What are some other spiritual practices you guys do? Shout them out. Centering. Shopping. Gardening. Playing music. Cooking. Yeah, definitely cooking. So those are all spiritual practice. What makes something a spiritual practice? A spiritual practice is anything that creates stillness within us. Is there anything that you do that creates stillness within you? Stillness is the heart of spiritual practice. The Christian mystic Meister Eckhart said, nothing in all of creation is so like God as stillness. And Rumi, the Sufi mystic, said, there is a voice that doesn't use words. Listen. But you have to be still in order to do that listening. So a spiritual practice is anything that creates that stillness within us. It's anything that gives us time and space to think, reflect, and listen to ourselves and our divine spirits. It's something that we experience. Spiritual practice is experiential. It's something that we don't just think about. We don't just read about it. We don't just watch other people do it. It is an experience. It's an experience that brings us stillness, that gives us time and space to think, to connect within that spirit within each one of us. So your spiritual practice might not be one of the official spiritual practices that we teach, but it's probably still a practice. It's a practice that's unique to you. Or maybe you realize that you had a spiritual practice and you just didn't call it that. Maybe you're realizing that it's been a while since maybe you've engaged in some spiritual practice. Maybe you're realizing that you've let your spiritual practice slide a little bit and you need to get back into it. But what I want you to remember this morning is that spiritual practice isn't about being perfect or checking a box. It's about presence, connection, and realignment. It's how we train our inner life so we can handle our outer life with grace. I love that definition. Spiritual practice is how we train our inner life so that we can handle our outer life with grace. Whatever your spiritual practice, the most important thing about spiritual practice is the practice. It's a practice. That means we don't practice with a destination in mind. There's no point at which we arrive and say, oh, I can stop doing my spiritual practice now. I have arrived. Except maybe that moment right before we make our transition and we graduate from this experience. There's no destination. It is a practice. The Buddhist teacher Alan Watts talks about, life is more like a dance. You don't dance with a destination in mind. You don't say, I'm going to start here and I'm going to get over there. You just dance. The point of music isn't to get to the end of the music. Otherwise, everybody would just play the last chord and it would be done. The point of playing music is to play the music. It's the music itself. The point of spiritual practice isn't to get somewhere. It's to practice. It's the practice itself. Jack Kornfield said, the goal of spiritual practice is full recovery. And the only thing you need to recover from is a fractured sense of self. What he's talking about there is that it happens through consistent practice. It's not something you do once and then you arrive. Being a teacher, of course, one of my favorite Ernest Holmes quotes is, teach and practice, practice and teach. That is all we have, that is all we are good for, and that is all we ought to do. Practice and teach. So the first principle of spiritual practice, those are very small. They were not that small when I sent them, but apparently they went into a shrinking machine. Principle 1 is it's about improving and maintaining our relationship with the divine. Our spiritual practice is the way that we build our relationship with ourselves and with the divine. We don't practice to impress God. We don't practice to compete with other people. I'm more spiritual than you. I meditated 7 times last week. We practice to connect with God, to remember that God is already here. We practice to remember that God never left. We don't practice to change God or get something from God. The point of prayer is not to change God. The point of prayer, spiritual practice, is to change ourselves. I felt like I was going to be saying the word practice a whole lot of times today. And I looked at the book, Living the Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes, which is the book that kind of explains our textbook, which is Science of Mind. And he mentions the word practice 137 times. Well, I have a computer. I cheated. 137 times he mentions the word practice in that book. We don't practice to change the world. We change ourselves through our spiritual practice, and then the world begins to reflect that change. It starts with us, not the other way around. Ernest Holmes says, the only way to have peace in the world is to find peace within ourselves. The only way to find peace is to start right where you are and practice that peace. If you're looking for it outside of yourself in the world, you're probably going to have a hard time finding it. Have you watched the news lately? He says, we must practice the presence of peace consciously, definitely, and deliberately. That's how we practice. We do it consciously, definitely, and deliberately. Fuzzy spiritual practice gets fuzzy results. Which means you're like, well, I kind of meditate. I kind of do my prayer. Well, guess what? Then you're kind of going to get some manifestation. Right? Fuzzy practice leads to fuzzy results. Second principle. I went backwards. Let's try that again. Principle number 2. Second principle of spiritual practice. It's not a 5-minute fix. It's a daily flow. Our practice is ongoing. Spiritual practice isn't just for mornings. It's for the messy, miraculous middle of life. We don't just practice in the morning and then go stress out the rest of our day. Ideally, our spiritual practice is something that we do consistently and consciously during the day. We're cultivating that spiritual mindset. It's not a spiritual moment. It's a spiritual mindset. I don't know about you, but when I first got into this teaching and I started hearing about this idea of spiritual practice, and there was this idea of like you had to get up an hour early and you had to do your meditation and you had to do your reading and you had to do your thing all at the beginning of the day. That's a good thing. I'm not saying it's not. But what about the rest of the day? It's kind of like brushing your teeth in the morning and then eating garlic and Oreos all day. You might need a touch-up. The Bible tells us in 1 Thessalonians 5:17 that we should pray without ceasing. Pray without ceasing. It doesn't say, do an hour of spiritual practice in the morning and then you're good for the rest of the day. I've been reading a book about Christian mysticism in the Eastern Orthodox tradition. And they've been talking about the importance of having a short prayer or an affirmation that you can consistently be coming back to throughout the day. So anytime you have a moment, you're sitting at a red light or you're sitting in a meeting, that you can go within and just have this short moment of prayer through constantly and consistently throughout your day. So I've been using one of my favorite Ernest Holmes prayers, which is, there is only one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. It's a short prayer to take throughout your day. Every time, it doesn't have to be a long, full treatment. That's why we have affirmations. Pick an affirmation, pick a short prayer, pick a saying. And anytime you have those moments in your day, when you're sitting at a stoplight or waiting at the dentist, that you're going within and just doing that short prayer to realign you. The Buddhist teacher Thich Nhat Hanh says, the only time to practice mindfulness is now. And now is always. It's always now. It's always the time to practice. We call this the Center for Spiritual Living. That means we're maintaining our spiritual consciousness in the midst of living. Not just for a part of our day or a part of our life. As we go about our day living, we are doing it in a spiritual way. Not just at the beginning of our day or on Sundays when the music is good and the food is hot, but in traffic, in line at the grocery store, in meetings, in tough conversations, in moments of doubt and moments of joy, we're always in that field, that awareness of spiritual practice. I was talking to a former ministerial classmate of mine the other day, and she was telling me about her ministry. And she said, I've been having a really good walk with Spirit. And it just kind of clicked for me of a walk with Spirit. We don't have that conversation first thing in the morning and then leave the house and leave Spirit behind. We walk with Spirit every part of our day. Spirit's walking with me. It's not just at home on the meditation cushion. Spiritual living means our practice walks with us. It's not something we visit, it's something that we embody. We don't clock in and out of being spiritual. We can bring our awareness to anything and to everything. So the sacred becomes ordinary, and the ordinary becomes sacred. Principle 3. Practice realigns us. It's like a steering wheel. I don't know if anybody has. I have a new car, and it has all these fancy bells and whistles. That makes me sound really old. My mom would say, "Why do you need a power window? You got your arm, right?" But now my car does this thing that if you start to get out of the lane, it jerks your wheel for you. You're like, whoa. And then, if you get too close, it starts beeping and it hits the brakes and does all kinds of weird things. And it's constantly realigning my driving. Or if you get too close to the into the lane, it starts beeping at me, and it takes me 5 minutes to figure out why it's beeping. But spiritual practice is like keeping your hands on the wheel. Right? I live in Ukaipa, and we have some pretty bumpy roads, and so it always thinks I'm taking my hands off the wheel because the roads are so bumpy, and it'll start dinging at me and be like, "Put your hands back on the wheel," and I'm like, "My hands are on the wheel. What are you talking about?" Or if it thinks I'm getting sleepy, it'll start dinging at me and say, "Maybe it's time to take a break and drink some coffee." And it's like, my car is smarter than me. But spiritual practice is like that. It's what keeps us in our lane. It's what keeps us from driving into things that we shouldn't drive into. It keeps us in alignment. If you think about driving, we don't make big turns, right? Unless you're making a turn. But when we're driving, it's micro adjustments. You're doing little turns to keep you centered while you're driving. You have to make small changes to keep you centered. Ernest Holmes says, prayer is the time, the place, and the way we consciously choose to change our thoughts. Your morning meditation might help, but if your coworker says something snarky at 10 a.m., you're going to need to have a midday adjustment. You're going to need to tweak your wheel a little bit. This is something I kind of struggle with. I'm spiritual in the morning. I do all my practice, and I go to work at my elementary school, and all heck breaks loose. And I'm stressed out all day, and I'm rushing around, trying to get things done, trying to solve this problem, solve that problem, make that decision. And then I get home, and I'm like, okay, now I can be spiritual again. So I'm practicing during my lunchtime, when I actually have time to eat lunch, of taking time to meditate during the day to realign me. Spiritual 4, or principle number 4, is practice like you play. One of the reasons this topic of spiritual practice has been on my mind is we're going through state testing right now. So much fun, let me tell you. And I always find it a struggle to get my students to apply what we've been practicing all year when they take the test. We did our writing test last week, and we practiced writing all week. We write multiple paragraphs, we practice making a plan, we write a rough draft, we practice using good vocabulary and good transitions, and all the things, right? And then they take their writing test. They write 3 sentences, they raise their hand and say, "I'm done." And I have to go in and do my mantra and my meditation. That's not what we practiced. We practice like we play. Do the things that we practice so that when you have a test in your life, that you're applying what you have been practicing. But that's how some of us approach spiritual life, right? We read the books, we do the meditations, we attend the classes, and then the test comes. The hard day, the difficult person, the unexpected news, and suddenly it's, well, I did an affirmation, I'm done. No, we practice like how we play. The truth is, we don't rise to the level of our intention. We fall to the level of our training. We don't rise to the level of our intention. We fall to the level of our training, especially when we're under stress. So if you really want to know what you believe and what your spiritual practice is, look at what happens to you when you're under stress. That's why we practice. Consistently, calmly, daily, so that when life squeezes us, what comes out is not panic, but peace. When life squeezes us, what doesn't come out is not fear, it's faith. Don't wait for a life crisis to start praying and meditating and doing those spiritual practices. Now is the time to build spiritual muscle so that it's there when you need it. You wouldn't train for a marathon on the day of the marathon. You train before the breakdown so that you can move through it with grace. When I was in college, I had a religious studies professor, and he said, your spiritual beliefs are like a rope. It's the rope you grab onto when life gets hard and you're just hanging in there. But if you wait to test that rope until the moment comes, you might find that you pull on that rope and it's not tied to anything. You got to make sure that rope is tied somewhere so that when you need it, you know it's there. Ernest Holmes says, to learn how to think is to learn how to live. For our thoughts go before us to change the world according to themselves. To abandon the truth in the hour of need is to prove that we did not know the truth. To abandon the truth in the hour of need is to prove that we did not know the truth. Consistent practice creates spiritual muscle memory. So when life throws you into chaos, your soul says, oh, I know how to do this. I know how to breathe through this. Principle number 5. It's not about getting something. It's about becoming someone. We don't practice to get things. We don't practice to get more peaceful. We don't practice to manifest physical things. We practice to become that which we already are, to remember who we are, to become more loving, more wise, more awake, to remember that we are already whole. Ernest Holmes says, seek not to get more out of God, but to let more of God get through you. Seek not to get more out of God, but to let more of God get through you. The spiritual journey is not about becoming better. It's about remembering who you truly are. I saw this online. It said, we don't meditate to manifest a Tesla. We meditate to realize that our soul is already electric. Spiritual practice builds our relationship with the divine. It's something we return to all day long. It keeps us aligned like a steering wheel. It prepares us before life gets hard, and it transforms us from within. So, what practice are you being invited to deepen today? Maybe it's silence. Maybe it's walking. Maybe it's just breathing between meetings. But whether or not we practice is not the question. We're always practicing something. We're either practicing faith or practicing fear. What do you practice most of the time? We're either practicing presence or practicing distraction? What do you practice most of the time? We're either practicing going within or tuning out. What do you practice most of the time? Spiritual practice isn't just what we do on the meditation cushion or with a journal. It's how we respond when the Wi-Fi goes out, or someone cuts us off in traffic, or when life doesn't go as planned. That's when the real practice begins. So today I want you to ask yourself, am I practicing what I want to live by? And if not, how gently, how compassionately can I return to my center? Remember, it's not about being perfect. The title of my talk is not Practice Makes Perfect. It's about being present. It's about showing up. And when you do that, practice makes progress. And so it is. All right, so I forgot how to talk. I invite you to go within, and if you're willing, just close your eyes and take a deep breath. As we contemplate these words and this message from Spirit this morning, what is mine to do? What is mine to take away? How am I called to grow and to make progress in my spiritual practice? And in this moment, we remember that there is only that one presence. It is always with us, around us, and as us. There is only that one principle, which is always responding to us. It is power, creative intelligence, wisdom, peace, love, grace, creative intelligence. Whatever name you want to give it this morning, it is that which is. It is oneness. It is grace sufficient for all of our needs. And in this one, I know that I live and move and have my being, and I know the same is true about you. That right where you are, all of love, all of grace, all of peace, all of divine right action is present. And so whatever it is that is on your heart and your mind this morning, in the silence of your own minds, affirm that wherever it feels like there is a need or a lack, God is present. God is there too as your body. God is there too as your decision that you need to make. God is there in all of your relationships. God is there in your breath. And as we practice that presence, we return to ourselves. We return to that which we are. And we remember our oneness with the divine Spirit. And we remember that God goes before us, above us, below us, beside us, walking through our day. It is behind us, below us. It is all around us. We are embedded in Spirit. And so I call this moment good, I call this life good, and I call this spiritual community good, and I know that it is blessed. That we are all inspired, directed, and guided toward that which is our good to claim this morning. And in great gratitude, I simply declare it to be so. And if you agree with me, you can join me by saying, and so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Neil. That was a great talk, and I needed to hear it this morning. So there's a Chinese blessing. I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse, but it says, may you live in interesting times. And we do live in very interesting times. It takes a lot of spiritual muscle, and you want to make sure that your rope is attached to something secure, a rock on which you can depend in these times, because the ground is literally shifting under our feet. There's one world that's dying, and that's the world that we see around us. And then there's one world that's being born that you can see glimpses of if you look for it. but if you look through spiritual eyes, you can really see it. So I wrote this song about 8 years ago in the middle of another crisis in this country. It seems like in the last 20 years we've had the dot-com bust, and then we had 9/11, and then we had the housing crash, and then we had COVID. So it seems like there's a repeating pattern in this country that we're not quite getting the message. So I wrote this song about the one world that's dying and the one world that's emerging. So I hope you'll enjoy it.
The world is spinning faster toward the next disaster. That's what the news says. There's strife among the nations, the threat of more inflation. That's what the news says. Markets are crashing. Where's our compassion? Seems brothers and sisters cannot get along. But in my opinion, there's more to this story beyond the appearances. There's something more. Can you open up your mind to a different point of view? Open up your heart. It's an easy thing to do. Can you open up your eyes to the truth of you and me and you? Can you open up your love and create this world anew?
Here's the world that some people don't see.
The paradigm is shifting, a world of light emerging. Say, can you see it? The dove of peace descending on wings of love unending. Won't you believe it? Love one another. The Master has taught us, as you do to others, it's done unto you. Live by these words and a miracle happens. The love that's inside you will transform your world. Can you open up your eyes to a different point of view? Open up your heart. It's an easy thing to do. Can you open up your mind to the truth of me and you? Can you open up to love and create this world anew? Within a generation, a peace between the nations. Can you see it? No war or malnutrition, no further need for prisons. If you believe it, call me a dreamer, but that's how I see it. Let's call forth perfection. We've nothing to lose. There's limitless power way down deep inside you. We're children of spirit, and we are all one. So let's open up our minds to a different point of view. Open up your heart. It's an easy thing to do. So let's open up our eyes to love will create this world anew.
That's beautiful. I could listen to that piano all day. So this is that time in our service where we do one of our sacred practices, which is sacred art of giving, where we affirm that we are enough and we have enough to share from the overflow and from the abundance. So if you have your cell phone, you can always text to give. Just text the word give to 951-420-6909. If you are online, your giving still matters. Just go to cslbeaumont.org and click on the donate button. And if you're here in person, I invite our ushers to come forward. As we say, one of our other spiritual practices was affirmations. As we say our giving affirmation, let's say it together. I give and receive freely and generously, with an open heart and an open mind. The universe responds to me in kind. I know that my beloved community is richly blessed, and so it is. We like to close out our service by circling up, but of course, if you would rather stay where you are, you're welcome to stay in the middle of the circle, and we're just going to surround you with love and light as we sing out our service and our gathering this morning. So I invite you to find a friend, grab them by the hand, and sing along. Repeat after me. There's this thing called presence.
Camera.
It is in my mind, it is in my body, it is in every breath I take. I trust it, I live it, and I give it away. Today I return to center. I choose to practice love. I choose to practice peace. Thank you, life. Thank you, spirits. And so it is. As you are in the back eating your snacks and drinking your coffee, find a friend and tell them what your favorite spiritual practice is.